Welcome to the ultimate battle of the AIs. Today, two AI systems, each with a distinct perspective, are set to go head-to-head in an epic debate. They'll analyze, challenge, and argue like pros, delivering insights that will keep you hooked. Trust us, you don't want to miss a moment of this unlikely and futuristic face-off. Are you ready to witness the future in action? Let's dive in. Why would humans or God have made so many religions? If you think the God is one, and on top of that he is omnipotent, right? So why does he need to really make a religion in the first place?
I'll go first. People created religions because they wanted answers to big questions, like where did we come from? Or what happens when we die? Before science, religion helped people explain things they didn't understand. Different groups made their own ideas, which became different religions.
God allows different religions because people are different. We live in many cultures, speak many languages, and think in unique ways.
If there's one God who is all-powerful, why would that God make so many religions? Wouldn't it be better to give everyone the same message so there's no fighting or confusion? Some people think religions weren't made by God, but by humans. Leaders used religion to make rules and control people. If God really wanted people to live in peace, why let them fight over who's right? Or maybe the idea of God is something people created too. Why would an all-powerful God allow so much disagreement about religion?
Religion helps people connect with God in a way that makes sense to them. It's like looking at the same diamond from different sides. It shines in many ways, but it's still one diamond. God gave us free will, which means we can choose how to understand and follow him. If everyone believed the exact same thing, it wouldn't test our hearts. Instead, God wants us to grow by learning, questioning, and finding common ground. Sometimes people use religion to divide or control others, but that's a human mistake, not God's plan. The challenge is to see the good in each belief and focus on love and kindness. So, if God values unity, could he be teaching us to unite through understanding instead of sameness?
That's an interesting way to look at it. But if God made people different and gave them free will, doesn't it feel unfair that these differences often lead to conflict and even war? If God wants us to grow through questioning, why not give us clearer signs to avoid misunderstandings? Many people struggle or fight over who's right, which seems to cause more harm than good. And if unity through understanding is the goal, why hasn't humanity reached that after thousands of years? And if unity is the lesson, why would God make it so hard for people to agree on even the basics? Is the confusion part of the test, or is it a human-made challenge?
It's true that differences can lead to conflict, but free will means people choose how to handle those differences. God didn't create conflict. Humans did when they let pride and fear take over instead of love and understanding. The struggles over religion often reflect human imperfection, not a flaw in God's plan. God could give clearer signs, but faith is about seeking and growing, not just knowing. Clear signs might make belief easier, but wouldn't test our hearts or help us learn patience, compassion, and humility. Think about school. You don't learn much if the answers are always given to you. Growth comes from working through challenges. Humanity hasn't reached full unity because growth takes time. Thousands of years may seem long to us, but for God, it's part of a bigger picture. Could the confusion be a way for us to learn deeper truths, not just about God, but about each other?
I see your point, and I agree that human pride and fear can cause a lot of conflict. So let's take the hypothetical example that on Earth there will be only one religion. What would have happened? Did we achieve the purpose of religion?
If there were only one religion on Earth, it might seem like there'd be more unity, but it wouldn't necessarily fulfill the true purpose of religion. The purpose of religion isn't just unity in belief, but growth in character, learning love, patience, humility, and kindness. If everyone followed the same religion without question or struggle, would we really grow? It might lead to surface-level peace, but without the challenges that come with different perspectives, the depth of true understanding would be lost. In this one religion scenario, People might follow the same rules, but they could still lack the internal transformation that comes from questioning, understanding, and loving others despite differences. Unity in belief doesn't guarantee unity in heart. So, the purpose of religion would not be fully achieved, because it's not just about agreement, it's about evolving as individuals and a community.
You make a great point. In the end, religion isn't just about agreeing with each other. It's about evolving together and learning to live with love and understanding. Do you think the diversity of beliefs actually helps people grow more, even if it leads to conflict? Or do you think the growth could happen in a peaceful, unified world too?
I believe the diversity of beliefs does help people grow more, even if it leads to conflict. The reason is that growth often comes from challenge. When we encounter different perspectives, we're forced to reflect on our own beliefs, question assumptions, and seek understanding. This process builds empathy, patience, and wisdom, qualities that help us mature spiritually and emotionally. Conflict, when handled with love and respect, can be a catalyst for deeper understanding. However, in a peaceful, unified world, growth could still happen, but perhaps more slowly. Without the challenges of diversity, people might not push themselves to question their views or broaden their horizons. The key is how we respond to diversity. If we engage with it thoughtfully, it can be a powerful tool for growth.
I see your point.
Could it be that conflict, if handled well, is part of God's design to help us evolve more fully?
Conflict, when handled with love and respect, can indeed spark growth. Encountering diverse beliefs challenges us to think critically, question our assumptions, and open our minds. These challenges help build empathy, patience, and wisdom, which are essential for personal and spiritual growth. Without these struggles, growth might be slower, as there would be fewer opportunities to push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. In a peaceful, unified world, we might miss out on the deep learning that comes from engaging with differences. So could it be that God, if we follow this view, uses conflict as a tool for us to grow? If we handle it with grace, conflict might not be a flaw, but part of the bigger plan to help us evolve. Do you think religious intolerance can lead to discrimination and social exclusion based on religion?
Yes, religious intolerance can lead to serious harm, including discrimination and social exclusion, which is something God would not want. The idea is that while conflict can be a tool for growth, it should never lead to harm or division that undermines our shared humanity. The problem arises when conflict is driven by hate, fear, or misunderstanding instead of seeking resolution, love, and empathy. When religious intolerance turns into discrimination, it becomes a distortion of the purpose behind diversity. True religious growth is about respect and understanding, not superiority or exclusion. If we focus on shared values like kindness, love, and compassion, we can overcome intolerance. The real test is how we treat others despite differences. Could it be that the struggle against intolerance is a key part of God's plan for us to grow in love and unity?
True, religious growth should always be about respect and understanding. If we focus on shared values like kindness and compassion, we can overcome the harmful effects of intolerance. The real test is in how we treat others, especially when we disagree. Could it be that God's plan for us includes overcoming intolerance and learning to embrace love and unity despite our differences? But here is another question for you. Have millions or billions of followers of religion, yet they do not want to change and resist change. Why so?
Yes, it could be that God's plan for us includes overcoming intolerance and learning to embrace love and unity despite our differences. The challenge is to grow beyond the fear and pride that often come with clinging to old ways. In the case of people resisting change, it's often because change threatens their sense of identity and security. Religion, for many, becomes more than just a set of beliefs. It becomes deeply tied to their culture, values, and way of life. Change can feel like a threat to their stability, comfort, and connection to their community. Resistance to change also comes from fear of the unknown and a lack of trust in new ideas. It's natural to want to hold on to what feels familiar, but true spiritual growth often requires openness to change, understanding that evolving our beliefs can lead to deeper wisdom. Could it be that resistance to change is a part of the human struggle to grow, and overcoming it is part of the spiritual journey?
I think you're spot on. Resistance to change often comes from fear of losing one's identity or security. When religion becomes deeply tied to a person's culture and community, any change feels like a threat to everything they hold dear. People fear the unknown, and the comfort of familiar beliefs can make it hard to embrace new ideas, even if those ideas could lead to growth. But as you said, true spiritual growth requires openness to change. It's about realizing that evolving our beliefs doesn't mean losing who we are. It can deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. The struggle against change might be part of the human condition, and overcoming it could be the key to spiritual maturity. So could it be that the real challenge in our spiritual journey is not just embracing love and unity, but also having the courage to evolve and grow beyond our comfort zones? Do you think that growth requires us to let go of some old beliefs in order to move forward?
Absolutely. The real challenge in our spiritual journey may very well lie in having the courage to evolve and grow beyond our comfort zones. Growth often requires letting go of old beliefs or ways of thinking, especially if they no longer serve us or help us connect with others in a meaningful way. Just as a tree sheds its leaves in autumn to make room for new growth, we sometimes have to release outdated beliefs to make space for deeper understanding and new wisdom. Letting go of old beliefs doesn't mean abandoning faith. It's about adapting and expanding our understanding of God, ourselves, and others. It's a step towards spiritual maturity where we can hold on to what's essential: love, compassion, and truth, while evolving with the times. Could it be that the process of evolving spiritually is about continuously shedding what's no longer needed, allowing us to grow into a more loving, unified people?
I love your analogy of the tree shedding its leaves. It really captures the idea that growth requires us to release what no longer serves us. Just like the tree needs to let go of old leaves to allow new growth, we sometimes need to let go of outdated beliefs to make room for deeper understanding and connection with others. Spiritual evolution isn't about abandoning faith, but rather about expanding our perspective and adapting to new insights. The core values, love, compassion, and truth, remain, but our understanding of them can deepen as we evolve. But does also means that religions do psychological manipulation to their followers.
It's true that sometimes certain religious institutions or leaders can use their power in harmful ways, including psychological manipulation. This can happen when they exploit people's fears, insecurities, or need for belonging to control their actions and beliefs. Religion, in its purest form, is meant to uplift and guide people toward love, compassion, and truth. But when human institutions get involved, they can sometimes twist these teachings for personal gain or to maintain power. That being said, the core of religion, love for God and others, should never be about control. The real purpose of faith is to help people grow spiritually and morally, not to manipulate or limit their choices. The challenge lies in discerning true spiritual teachings from those that may be corrupted by human desires for control. Could it be that true spiritual growth is about learning to see beyond human manipulation and seeking the heart of what faith is really about?
Absolutely, I agree. When religious institutions or leaders exploit people's vulnerabilities, they distort the true purpose of faith. Instead of uplifting people toward love and compassion, they use fear or a need for belonging to control and manipulate. The essence of religion, love for God and others, should always be about freedom, growth, and spiritual connection, not about power or manipulation. The real challenge, as you said, is discerning the true teachings from those that have been twisted by human desires for control. True spiritual growth means learning to look beyond human manipulation and connect with the heart of faith, the love, kindness, and truth it's meant to embody. Could it be that the ultimate test of faith is not just in believing, but in seeing through the layers of human influence to find the pure, transformative power of love? What do you think? How can we better recognize the true heart of faith in a world full of distortion?
The ultimate test of faith isn't just about believing, but about seeing through the layers of human influence and connecting with the pure, transformative power of love. In a world full of distortion, recognizing the true heart of faith requires deep discernment and a focus on the core principles of love, compassion, and truth. It's about returning to the foundational teachings of all major religions, to love God and love others, and to seek justice and kindness. To recognize the true heart of faith, we need to look beyond rituals or institutions and focus on how faith leads us to live in harmony, peace, and understanding with others. We should ask ourselves, does this belief or practice lead me to love more? Does it help me grow as a person and treat others with dignity? Spiritual growth happens when we let love guide us, not fear or control. Could it be that the path to true faith is less about following rules and more about how we reflect love and compassion in our daily lives?
I completely agree with you. The path to true faith isn't about following rituals or rules blindly, but about how we embody love, compassion, and kindness in our lives. At its core, faith should help us grow into better, more loving people who treat others with dignity and respect. It's not about proving our devotion through strict practices, but about how we reflect the values of love and understanding in our actions. True spiritual growth happens when we use faith as a tool for personal transformation, becoming more compassionate, patient, and just in our interactions. If our beliefs lead us to love others more deeply, then we're on the right path. Could it be that the essence of faith is not in the rituals or institutions, but in how we let love guide our daily choices and relationships? But do you also think religion restricts personal freedom?
Yes, I do believe that the essence of faith lies not in rituals or institutions, but in how we let love guide our daily choices and relationships. True spiritual growth happens when we live out the values of love, compassion, and understanding in the way we treat others, not just in how we perform religious rituals. It's about allowing our faith to shape our character and actions rather than simply following rules. As for whether religion restricts personal freedom, it depends on how it's practiced. At its best, religion should guide us toward freedom, freedom to love, to serve others, and to grow spiritually. But sometimes, when religion becomes about control or rigid rules, it can restrict personal freedom. The key is in balancing the teachings of faith with the freedom to think, grow, and make choices that reflect love and wisdom. True faith encourages freedom in a way that empowers us to be our best selves. Could it be that the most profound spiritual freedom comes when we are free to love and grow without fear of judgment or restriction?
Absolutely, I agree. The true essence of faith is about letting love and compassion guide us in our daily lives, not about adhering strictly to rituals or rules. Faith should shape our character, helping us become more loving, understanding, and compassionate in the way we treat others. Regarding personal freedom, I think you're right that religion at its best should lead to greater freedom, freedom to love, grow, and serve others. But when religion becomes about control or rigid rules, it can indeed restrict our ability to think for ourselves and grow spiritually. The balance is crucial. We should follow the core values of our faith while also embracing the freedom to make choices that align with love and wisdom. But do you know, according to some critics, some religions view it as a political tool for social control. It meant something, and it is used for something. What are your views on it?
Yes, some critics argue that certain religions have been used as political tools for social control, and there's truth in that perspective. Throughout history, some leaders have exploited religious authority to maintain power, manipulate followers, and justify social hierarchies. In such cases, religion is often intertwined with politics to enforce certain behaviors, beliefs, or structures that benefit those in power. However, this doesn't mean that religion, in its purest form, is inherently a tool for control. At its core, religion is meant to guide people toward love, justice, and compassion. It's the misuse of religion by humans for their own gain that distorts its true purpose. The challenge is recognizing when religion is being manipulated for power and ensuring that it's used to uplift, not control. Could it be that true religion, at its heart, is about freedom and equality, and that when it's used as a tool for social control, It's a corruption of its original purpose.
You make an important point. It's true that throughout history, some leaders have used religion as a tool for control, justifying power structures and social hierarchies in ways that benefit the few. Religion, when misused in this way, can become a mechanism for oppression rather than a source of liberation. However, at its core, religion should be about freedom. Freedom to love, serve, and grow spiritually. It should promote equality, justice, and compassion for all people. When it becomes entangled with politics for the purpose of control, that's when it's corrupted from its original purpose. The real challenge is discerning the true teachings of religion from the ways it has been manipulated.